Hallie Varner,
and we're your wilderness explorers
for today.
Today we're going to be going to find the giant African snail.
Yay! Let's go to the forest.
Okay, here's what we're looking for. We're looking for a snail
that has a large cone
that has 7 to 9 spirals on that cone.
and it has mucus all over its body that keeps it moist.
Which is good.
And it is very big.
Yes.
It's about 20 centimeters in length and 10 centimeters in width.
And then the symmetry that it has is bilateral, which means if you cut it in half, it's going to be almost the same on each side. The giant African snail originated in Africa, but now it's located all over the world, except for Antarctica. The biome that it lives in is a humid forest, and it has lots of different big and small plants for it to eat. Also, there are rivers in this biome, which allows it to hang out and kind of cool down if it gets too hot. The climate in this biome is very hot and humid. The giant African snail has adapted to this biome. For example, it can go into its shell when predators are around or the climate is too extreme. Also, there's mucus produced, which allows it to move more quickly, and it keeps it moist. Also, it camouflages with its brown color.
The giant African snail is a herbivore, which means it only eats plants. It has a mouth and a digestive system just like we do, and it has small little teeth that help it mash up its food. It usually eats like leaves or small twigs, or it can eat fruits or vegetables. And it can also eat sand or stone, which allows it to grow at its shell because it uses the calcium to build it up. Hey, look guys, there's Emma's food web that she was working on earlier. She was modeling the type of ecosystem that the giant African snail lives in. So there's the giant African snail. It eats fruits and vegetables and leaves and twigs. And there's also squirrels and hedgehogs that are the other primary consumers of the producers. And then there's also small birds and snakes and badgers for the secondary consumers. And there's hawks and foxes and coyotes. Those are the tertiary consumers at the top of the food chain.
The giant African snail has both male and female reproduction organs, which means they can reproduce asexually by themselves or sexually, which means together. The giant African snail has internal fertilization and external development, which means they lay eggs.
Hey guys, did you know that snails have been around for 248 million years? We know this because we found fossils of the snail shells that were from like 248 million years ago.
Oh look, I think I found it.
No, silly Emma. This isn't a giant African snail. Animals in this phylum typically have slimy bodies, not fur, and they usually have shells.
Oh man.
Oh, I think I see it.
Oh no, Hallie Varner. That's how you distinguish the giant African snail from other snails. The giant African snail is huge, and I think this snail is too small.
Oh, you're right, Emma. That's not it.
Hallie Varner, I think I found it.
That is it.
Oh my
And look,
goodness.
you can see its breathing hole.
Hallie Varner, did you know that the giant African snail uses a mouth and lungs just like us to breathe, but also has a breathing hole?
No, I didn't know that. That's so cool. It's so big. Look, Emma, it's almost the size of my head.
Oh my goodness.
It's so cool. Look at its antennas and its big shell. Wow, Emma, that was really fun to get to see a giant African snail. But I think it's time to go back to headquarters.
Yeah, I agree. But first, let's hear some fun facts about the giant African snail.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact number 1. It was really cool that we got to see a giant African snail, and especially during the day, because they're nocturnal animals, which means they're only active at night.
Fun fact number 2, it was also really rare that we saw one in the United States because they're not allowed as pets, because they're in the top 100 invasive species.
Wow. Fun fact number 3. Giant African snails are so invasive because they lay a lot of eggs each year and they have a high survival rate, so their population in their species grows really fast and really rapid.
fun fact number 4 is that the giant African snail doesn't take care of its babies after it's born, and they live mainly alone, except for when they're mating.
Time to go back to headquarters. See you next time. Bye!